All right, so folks that haven't seen this before, Mythgard is a fully combined dealer's choice. Will do, Chuki. I appreciate that support. And thanks for the dealer's choice bits. Oh, let me pick my deck. For people that haven't seen this game before, this is a fully digital card game that's available cross-platform on Windows, Linux, and OS X on Steam. It's also available on Android and iOS on mobile. The game does a good job of taking some of the good bits of Magic and mixing in some of the better bits that Hearthstone has, such as removing resource variants. Unlike Hearthstone, though, where you just get a linear progression of resources every single turn, this game, you take cards in your hand and you turn them into resources. So you still have to account for using cards as resources, but you don't get flooded or screwed. Wouldn't be surprised if users slow because the update hasn't hit mobile yet. Oh, that's interesting to know, Pelly. They just rolled out a sizable patch that reworked a number of cards. And one of the things I really liked that they did in their balance patch was they, in addition to making some cards weaker, they also made a number of cards stronger, which is neat. Good way to balance and try and increase the overall number of playable cards instead of just nerfing, but making other cards better that weren't seeing play. Did you say they added a puzzle sharing tool as well? That's neat. Yeah, it looks like they reworked a bunch of the interfaces in here. Is the gallery different? I imagine the gallery's the same. I didn't realize the patch wasn't out on mobile yet. Wonder if it's gonna take too long to find people. That's sad. Getting things pushed through the Android and iOS store doesn't happen instantaneously. What's checking this button do? It finds me an opponent instantly is what it does. All right. Deal. All right, so one of the things I like about this game is it eliminates some of what we refer to as the wrong half problem when playing mid-range decks in Magic. So this 7-drop that I don't want until a long time from now, I'm going to burn it off. So when I burn a card like that, I gain a resource and I get a gem of the color of that card. This is a monocolor deck, so everything I'm burning is going to be burning for red. And then I'm going to take out and play out my 1-drop here. So my 1-drop here is a 2/1 for 1 that has life tap, so it gains me life when it attacks. The way the combat works in this game is all of the units are played out on this 7-lane board on either side. And when you attack, if your opponent doesn't have a blocker in one of the 3 lanes in front of you, you attack their face directly. So this here is going to hit them for 2 and gain me 2 because it is life tap. And then because I'm taking an aggressive role in this matchup, it looks like I'm going to take my units and spread them out because units only attack and block the 3 lanes in front of them. So I'm positioning one of my units in lane 1 and another one of my units over here in lane 7. My opponent can't deploy a single unit that blocks both of my things.
You'll survive.
This is a 1/5 that at the end of my opponent's turn, it heals all of their adjacent minions. So I can go ahead and attack their face for 2 here. It only heals adjacent minions, so it doesn't heal itself. So because my opponent has a blocker here, I can no longer attack their face directly. However, I can combine 2 of my units into an attack to kill this. So I'm going to go ahead and smash in here, which takes 2 toughness off of it. And then I'm going to go ahead and burn a firesong prodigy here, which lets me play out my ironbelly wyvern, which is a 3/2 with rush, so it can attack right away. The deck that I'm playing is called, refer to it as Big Red. It's a mono red kind of mid-range deck, but it also has some kind of aggressive draws. One of the things that's neat is in this game, because your minions can attack other minions directly, your creatures kind of double as removal, which is nice. All right, so I can burn. I have 3 cards that draw cards here. I think I'm going to burn one of those off. Wings of Abaddon is a 4/1 with rush that has an activated ability. So I can sacrifice one of my other minions to make this immortal till end of turn. So I can do this and trade there. So I basically traded my 2/2 for their 2/3, which is a good exchange rate for us. Yeah, I always assume when I'm rolling into Mythgard for the first time that there's going to be some number of people on stream that haven't watched it played before. So they played an artifact here, which is all of their minions in enchantments deal or get +1/+1. And they played an 0/1 here that's getting a bonus. Now this is kind of blocking this. That being said, I think I'm going to put Panic Raider in the middle here. So this is a mechanic called Breach. So I'm going to go ahead and hit them for 2 and draw a card. And then I can use the activated ability on Wings to sack this and then hit them. So that's pretty clean. They absorbed my Wings attack for the turn, but they didn't take this off the table and this drew a card. Yeah, people often ask the question, like, is this game closer to Magic or Hearthstone? And honestly, I think this game has taken the best parts of Magic, which are the different colors that your decks can have, and the best parts of Hearthstone, which is the incredibly interactive nature of combat of one unit attacking another unit, and kind of married them together in a very elegant way. So I'm going to start by playing Ichor Feast here, which draws me 3 cards and loses me 3 life. Big fan of drawing cards. They deployed an enchantment down here, which says if this lane isn't occupied at the start of their turn, they create a 1/1 snake, which is then a 2/2 from this bonus here. So I think my units I'm going to want to start moving down. I'm going to want to deploy future units down this way. I'm going to go ahead and have this eat the ironbelly wyvern so it can become immortal until end of turn. So I can go ahead and do this. I actually think this card's a lot better with the change. So this is one of the cards that was rebalanced in the patch today, and it previously had overrun, so like trample, but it costs 2 to activate its ability, and the ability to use this for free makes it a less aggressive and more controlling card, and I really like that. Yeah, I have used the ability more in this one game than I did in the entirety of when it costs 2. So this card has an activated ability as well that lets me draw a card and then put a card from my hand back into my deck every turn. I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. I have Crimson Pact to destroy something. My health total is pretty high, so like not worried about keeping extract life for the moment. I drew Duskwing Angel as well, which lets me life tap eventually. Again, one of the things that really drew me to this game was how interactive all the games are. So my opponent played this artifact here, and even though I don't have cards in my deck that let me destroy artifacts, artifacts in this game take damage whenever you take damage. So when I hit them for 4, their artifact's gonna lose 4 durability. Hit them for 2, it's gonna lose 2, and then this wings over here is gonna destroy this artifact. I think I'm going to start by doing this and see what we get. I don't need 2 Crimson Packs, I don't think. Actually, nah, I'm wrong. I think I do want 2 Crimson Packs. Yeah, I think I do, because I have a lot of things to waste to potentially deal lethal next turn. So I want a bunch of ways to clear out any blockers they might deploy. So I want to let you know I'm coming for Shillionaire. Nice, Beansy. I've not made any new decks yet. I'm just playing the big red deck that I had been working on previously. If my opponent could have Misanthropia here as a card, so Pseudo Sweeper would kill these and this eventually. Yep, there's Misanthropia. So Misanthropia gives all units in play the mechanic Blight 3, which means they get -3/-3 at the start of each turn until they die. I'm going to go ahead and activate this to draw a card and then put a card from my hand back into my deck. Get rid of the Strogoi Pup. I think I'm going to burn the Strogoi Pup. And then I'm going to attack this in so it dies. And the reason why I'm making this play is this is gonna die to Blight next turn anyways. And I want to play my 7-ring ritual card. And 7-ring ritual says it creates a 3/1 in every one of my open lanes. So by cashing in that O2 that was gonna die on my next turn anyways, I get to go ahead and make an extra 3/1 here. They don't have another mass removal. Yes, Maester. So the gems at the bottom kind of get used up as if you were tapping lands of specific colors, is a way to think about it. I'm gonna ask my partner rep today if he knows if they're going to reset shillings, and if they are going to reset the shillings at some point, I will let subs know so people who have been saving them can cash them in. The interface update today looks clean. I prefer the rounded, I think. This information appear in the upper right-hand corner looks good too. I do not control the rate at which players acquire shillings. So I choose what the costs of the rewards are, but I do not, however, control the rate at which players accrue them. I got a couple of wild cards there for my quest. I'm a whale in this game too, so I don't need wild cards of this rarity, so I'm just gonna unmake them. The crafting and card acquisition in this game is a mix of Hearthstone and Magic Arena. So there's wild cards for specific rarities and colors, but there's also a dusting style system, so you can get rid of things that you don't want. Just don't control the rate at which shillings die. Again, the way the resources in this game works is it rewards you for identifying how you want to curve out. So for example, I have 2 1-drops here. Don't need an extra 1-drop past turn 1, so it makes sense for me to burn my extra 1-drop.
Let's feed.
Similar thing here, I don't need 2 Crimson Packs to start. One thing that's good to know is when you burn a card, it's not just discarded or gone. There's a deck tracker over here on the right side if you forget what's in your deck. And you can see here, the Strogoi Pup over here has 2 green dots and 1 orange dot. This means that there is 1 Strogoi Pup that's been burned already in my deck. That's actually really annoying. It's just going to eat my 2/1 here. And burn the Duskwing Angel for now. I'm playing my Trapezists over here. This is a game that's made by an actual small indie company. We joke about WotC being one all the time because, well, you know, quality software from them. But this, the features that they have done are just really well fleshed out.
Approaching target.
3-2. Okay, so we'll get to trade this off over here. I'm gonna burn Extract Life. I think I'm just gonna Crimson Pact this. Burning a removal spell like this on a cheaper unit tends to feel a little bit medium. It might be right to just Panic Raider and like get some card draw going. I do like a lot of the art styles in this game. For something that other people haven't realized is when you zoom in on a card, if you click the little glass here, it gives you the full art version, which is great.
Do you seek wisdom?
Is the color pie the same as in Magic? It is not. So Mythgard has 6 different colors in it. There's some kind of rough parallels you can draw between some of the colors in this game and some of the colors in Magic, but they're not all direct. Did the overlay get unloaded? It's still doing its thing. Yeah, it's so weird. All right, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and trade my Wings of Abaddon here for their 4/4. Nah, I'm not really big on limited Fated. Definitely prefer to jam constructed and tune decks. That's my forte for card games. Yeah, something I actually really like about Mythgard is they don't restrict certain colors to doing certain things. So a lot of the time, it removes a lot of those feel bad style moments of, oh, my opponent played a card and the colors I'm playing can never interact with that card. The colors do similar things, but they tend to accomplish them in different ways. So like, different removal in different colors will have different drawbacks, etc.
Is that all you've got?
The annoying part is remembering that B is blue in Mythgard. Nah, blue is forever you. This card's really strong. It says whenever I create an enemy minion, it gets +1/+1, which makes it tough to kill by attacking.
Wanna burn?
So I'm going to put this in front of here to block it, but it feels like we're in a little bit of trouble here. The fact that I played my 2 Crimson packs out aggressively was probably a mistake this game. Yikes. Yeah, I don't really have a good answer to that. That's a new voice line too. It's a 10/10 with overrun. Yeah, my red removal is not particularly good at interacting with those. No, especially when I burn my Crimson packs early. Had cards to play them, kind of spewed them aggressively early. Thanks, Destiny. I plan to be here every weekday as long as people have me. The spending in this game is probably about similar when you're on whale status to Magic Arena. The base set in this game is 400 cards, and I think at about 200 packs at about $1 a pack, I had almost everything except all of the mythics. So they deployed a lane enchantment here, which gives a bonus to whatever unit gets put into here. So whatever thing they put in the middle is going to have +1 attack and armor. So I probably want to take my units and spread them out to the left and the right, as opposed to in the middle, so I don't have to deal with whatever they're giving bonuses to here. I'm going to drop my pup over here. I'll probably drop my trapeze artist over here. How Divergent has the match anyone option, but I have no idea. This person is also master, so not much doesn't look like. So happy to trade my 1-drop for their 2-drop here. I'm gonna burn off 7 ring ritual. Actually, maybe that was a mistake. This has rush and this had life tap. So maybe I'm supposed to actually trade my 2/1 for their 2/2 there, so I can keep or trade my 2/2 for their 2/2 there, so I can keep my 2/1 around to gain more life with. This is another one of the cards they changed in today's update. They reduced it from a 3/4 to a 3/3, so that means Ironbelly Wyvern gets to trade 1 for 1 here. The way they have card sleeves up in this game is really sweet. You pick both an icon to put over the top and a texture for under it, so it's a lot of customization. And naturally, because they're a pretty feature complete product, you can flag specific combinations as a default sleeve, which is wild. I know. I'm sure that feature took them ages to get right. I think I'm going to lead on Panic Raider over here, hit them and see what we draw. With Extract Life and now Ironbelly weird, but I think I'm going to burn a Crimson Pact here. Keep my rush minions. One thing I don't think I mentioned today for anybody who's new that hung around for the Magic section is you'll notice each of these cards has dots in the upper right-hand corner. The dots dictate not only the rarity of the card based on the color, but the number of dots tell you how many of that particular card can be in your deck. So commons are bronze and have 4 dots. You can play up to 4 of the same common. Uncommons are silver and have 3. Rares are gold and have 2. And mythics are blue and have 1. Hey, thanks for the 11 months, Jackie. I appreciate the continued support. Welcome back. One of the things that balancing by rarity does, which is nice for the game, is the fact that it makes it so if you have to budget a deck, you're not losing as many cards in it. So decks that have less mythics tend to not be as weak as they would in Magic. It's not like you're missing 4 of a mythic. So I played my 2-2 to kill their 1-1, and then my Panic Raider got in a hit, so I got to draw another card. They have a 3-2 with armor 1 here in the middle. I think I'm going to go ahead and burn my wings, and then just go ahead and get my Ironbelly in here to kill this. And you can see the interface tells me that these two things are going to trade when I mouse over them like that. Oh, you know what? I kind of messed up, right? They were fragile, so I could have traded this here and then kept my 3-2 over here. Small mistake there. Why not ignore it and just go to the face? Because I've got cards in my hand that are going to use my health total as a bit of a resource. And I don't think the game's currently in a position where I'm going to get really rewarded for being purely linear. This red build that I'm playing is a little bit less all in than a lot of the other red builds that are out there.
Come in.
So you're not a pure aggro deck. You have some things that go further up the curve. So like ringmaster is more for like bigger combo kills at the top end when you get to like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. So I deployed my 2-5 over here so that way after this 3-1 killed my 2-2, my 2-5 could finish this off. They're bouncing it. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So my opponent's a little bit ahead on board here, but they're down to 2 cards in hand, and I've got like 6 pretty good cards in my hand. Yeah, this is a mid-range deck, and one of the defining features of mid-range decks in this game and in Magic 2 are mid-range decks are decks that take on different roles depending on the matchup that you're playing. So in against aggressive decks, we're the control deck, but against other mid-range and control decks, we tend to be the aggressor. I'm gonna burn a shopworn bowl here and put this angel over here. Angel, in addition to having life tap, has the ability agile, which is a form of evasion. So this can actually attack past blockers unless all the lanes in front of it are blocked. And they stole my toy. Trader's Murmur is just straight up mind control. It's real good. Okay, get 2 for 1. I'm gonna burn this other bowl and play another angel out. Why put an angel minion in place early in lanes? Because I'm stupid. You are correct that this is the better lane to put it in. Because then they have to block all 3 things here. Yep. Yeah, like I said earlier, one of the biggest draws of this game to me is just there's so much more player agency in this game. Like the average game of Mythgard has a lot more player agency than the average game of Magic. There's a lot of back and forth. The way the core rules work encourage you to play cards that interact with your opponent's cards. The very nature of the combat system makes it incredibly interactive. My Chimera here, when it comes into play, it creates 3/1 heads on either side. I love that the art goes across all 3 of them with the tokens here. So this cannot take more than 2 damage inside of combat. Rude. So let's do this here. And then hit your face, hit your face. I think I'm just going to wings in the middle. I guess I could Crimson Pact here, but that kind of feels needlessly aggressive. So I think I'm actually just going to sack this and have this eat this in combat. They just have their 1 draw for the turn, and we have them dead on board, so if they don't rip like a sweeper here. Gain 4 life, draw a card. Close. If they were at 8 life or less, they would have gained 8 and drawn 2, so pretty fortunate that I chose the less aggressive line there. So this does 4, this does 4, this does 3, and then I actually have extra 2 here. Did I finish the one about playing big minions? I did. I would like my gold, please. This game is great. Buy its stuff. I certainly bought its stuff. One of the things I didn't mention today are the there's just so many things to cover at the start. Or the feature decks. One of the things they do that's really great in this game is if you're interested in giving it a try without putting any dollars in, the feature decks are decks that you get assigned to you when you create an account that are complete decks that you can play in ranked and unranked without owning any of the cards in them. And the feature decks that you have on your account rotate twice per week, so you can really sample a variety of the different cards that are in the game without having to put dollars in before you're sure whether or not it's something you're interested in sticking with. Yeah, the lack of non-games is definitely refreshing.
Wanna burn?
What are the odds of another weekend stream? I don't know, Lumbering Falls. So this is warded, which means it does not take damage outside of combat. So I can't ignition this one to kill it. I'm going to burn off Ringmaster for now, and I think I'm going to put Panic Reader down here and start drawing cards with this. Most card games give new players weak decks to expand on. Since feature decks don't grant cards, they can be more competitive. Are they? I see the value in that decision, especially in allowing additions to the feature list over time. Are you asking, like, do I think the feature decks are better for new players than, like, giving players bad decks? So I think the just previously burned cards just look different now. So like this, it's just it's grayed out in the middle, so I can't burn this card. I think the way Mythgard has feature deck set up is an ideal way to set something up like that, and I wish other games did something like that. All right, so I can play Pup out. But I can also just, like, play Firesong Prodigy over here. But Firesong Prodigy over here doesn't really accomplish anything, so they'd be attacking their 3/3 into my 2/2. So I think my plan here is to burn this 6-drop, and then play this down over here. And then next turn, we'll ironbelly wyvern over here to trade with this 3/3. Why can't I burn the card in my hand? That's a good question. So, this is a created card. This was created by Firesong Prodigy. It's not a card that was in my deck to start. And most of the created cards, all the created cards in this game, question mark, have no colored line in the middle, which says you can't burn them. So you can see this card has a red line in the middle. This one has a red line. This one actually doesn't, because this has been previously burned. Kind of far behind here. They have a 4/4 and a 3/3 in play. I think I'm going to put Oak over here. Then I'm going to go ahead and burn off Panic Raider. Oak will trade 1-for-1. Oak will trade here, and then it draws me a card, which is nice. Our life total is getting a little bit low, though, which makes cards like Ichor less appealing. Our opponent's still got a lot of gas in the tank. That's not too bad. Now that's bad for me, so they gave this armor 1. Hey, Meister, thanks for the 14 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. You can only burn cards that start in your deck with the exception of Forgelings created by the Forge Path. Well, that seems like a weird distinction to me. I knew Forgelings could burn, but does anybody know why that's the decision they made? I think I just want to trade that there, and then I'm going to put Ringmaster in the middle. And then next turn, I can play Duskwing Angel as a rush minion if they don't kill this. Although it might just get deported here. Okay, even that move is not too big of a deal.
Is that all you've got?
I was just about to say this card's basically unkillable for us outside of Crimson Pact, so, you know, Crimson Pact. Our life total is super low here, though.
Let's feed.
And, like, this is another card that drains us, so I wouldn't be surprised if we lose this game. Yep.
Yes, yes. Brilliant.
I think we're probably dead here.
Lie still.
So I have to put both of these over here because they have deported in their hand that we know about, that one of their cards created earlier that can bounce one of our minions. So if I don't put 2 blockers in front of here, it's going to get through and punch my face. If this fights this, their thing will kill mine and survive because of the armor. But that'll give me enough life that I can Ichor Feast at least, and then this can finish this off.
To battle!
Oh, super unfortunate. I can't burn either of these. If I could Ringmaster dash this in, I'd be golden, but this has already been burned, and this doesn't is a created card, so it can't be burned. that's a pretty good draw. Kill your thing, gain a little bit of life. Their colors don't really have any rush in them, so we might be able to stabilize this in the back of Ringmaster plus Duskwing Angel next turn. So, Ringmaster. Where are you safest? Probably over here.
In the center ring.
Lie still.
Kill that. This heals itself when it kills something, which is pretty great. And then unfortunately, this enchantment says they draw an extra card at the start of their turn if this is occupied. And the minion in here has Lurker, so it's hard to attack. Dumpstered. This deck really does not... This has been one of the better decks that I've played. It really does not feel good against these various green decks. Should we have put Ringmaster next to him? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I couldn't kill their thing in the enchantment to let them draw an extra card because the enchantment gives it Lurker, which means you have to attack other units outside of it. I don't think I have any changes to this offhand. I think I'm going to go ahead and run a quick ad break and run to the restroom, and then when we get back, we're going to play something else. Maybe we'll play some of this red-orange mid-range deck, or this OG deck. I don't really have the brain capacity to build new things at the moment, so I think we're just going to dip back into some of these other things that are good. Resupply Caravan got changed. This one's probably not as good anymore. I think this one's probably good. Can cut Caravan. Has Agile, you could ignore. I have no idea if that's true. I have no idea if that's what Agile does. Yes, you're right. Apparently Agile does that. Sure. All right. All right. I'll be